Yes. Going to put the spotlight on Richmond, California tonight, right here on Street Soldiers.
Street Soldiers Radio is the voice of the Alive and Free movement, preventing violence worldwide.
I'm going to throw out something I learned that I didn't know a lot, but as I started working in Richmond, North Richmond, Central Richmond, South Richmond, those aren't just geographic areas of the city to folks out there. Can I just use the word turf for a lot of people? The North, I'm from the Central, and I'm from the South, and we don't mix.
That's a reality.
Right. And so you got it. This show deals in reality, we deals in all that. So what is that relationship? And I mean, further to say, see, I venture to say this whole, when you brought up North Richmond isn't really part of Richmond's part of the county, that's a whole nother dynamic, because I can certainly remember what is the most famous thing about North Richmond? There's one way in and there's one way out. And I can remember me driving a young man into North Richmond. I remember this, I'm not going to say his name, I'm not going to say his family's name. And why was I driving him? Because he was looking for his mother. He was looking for his drugged out mother. That was my first visit to Richmond, driving that boy around the streets of Richmond looking for his mother. So there's that whole aspect of it, which has to have an effect, particularly North Richmond and its relationship to the rest of the city.
I'm going to blame it on BC, what we say?
AC and BC.
Yeah, AC and BC. Before crack and after crack. Before crack, we was leaving the doors unlocked.
Okay.
Before crack, we was getting whoopings by people that you didn't probably even know, by one of your neighbors from blocks and blocks away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
After crack, nobody wasn't even telling you to eat. Nobody wasn't telling you you was homeless. In certain situations, destroyed the female, so you wasn't getting nurtured. The fathers left.
When this city is the top 10 and one of the top 10 most dangerous, is that something that we can just pretend or gloss over and act like? I mean, that's a hell of a list to make.
It's two different type of realities in Richmond. You got the haves and the have-nots. And see,
that's the kind of stuff I'm hoping into.
I mean, the reason why I'm doing this type of work is because I was a have-not that luckily lived past my death date. You know what I mean? So I found out that everything that I was doing as a have-not was a lie. So my whole job became to educate young people that, hey, you don't have to hang on a block to get some type of stature, because the block has no type of credibility in the real world. It's never going to be past, the block never going to be stronger than education. You'll never be able to put on your resume, oh, I was on the block. From our days when we was playing around in the streets of Richmond and the days of now, there's absolutely no type of leadership in no way. And the leadership that they come from the haves have a real big problem in getting to the have-nots, because we throw barriers. We don't even let the people with the senses knock on our door, so them numbers is incorrect. We don't open up our door to people. We so alienated, and then we taught 31st Street hate 32nd Street. 40th Street is going to kill somebody on 42nd Street. I mean, it's crazy.
When I say Richmond, California, one thought comes into my head. One name comes into my head. And that name will forever live with me. It's a part of Street Soldiers. It's a part of just the work that I do, and that is the name Terrence Kelly. TK will forever just be with me. And that really began my sort of intimate involvement with the city of Richmond, when that young man, from 2 days before his flight to the University of Oregon on a football scholarship from De La Salle High School, was shot and killed by another young man from Richmond who is now in prison. And I'll never forget that day. I remember driving in my car, getting a phone call, there's only so many degrees of separation in this world. And he went to De La Salle, which is where my son went to school. And, so I used to go watch TK play. I just watched him as a football player. I heard he's from Richmond, The day I got that phone call, I knew that it was a devastating blow for the community. I went straight to the funeral. When I got there, in fact, the gentleman here, who we're going to meet in a minute, went and told the family that I was there, and the family asked me to speak at the service. TK was everything that was right about Richmond.
And that hurt my heart. So that's what led my fight. And if you need something like that, if that don't push you to do something about yourself in your community or help somebody or help your neighbor, you live in a sad situation.